Did you know some folks do not just fit into the bloke or bird boxes? Shocking, right? Hello and welcome to the world's secret club where gender is not just black or white, it is technicolor chaos. You might think this is a modern invention, but nope, it is as old as your granny's ancient storytelling. Then along came colonialism, like an uninvited guest who breaks all the furniture and insists you sit a certain way. Pull up a chair or a hammock if you are here in Thailand like me, and let us nerd about cultures that just cannot be bothered with two genders and what happened when empire builders tried to mess with that. It's quite a saga. Right then, let us have a little chinwag about something that is both fascinating and maddening in equal measure. The idea that every culture only ever had two genders. You hear it all the time, do you not? There is boys and there is girls, end of story. Well, that is not just wrong, it is a bloody insult to human diversity. Please sit down and I will tell you why. Long before the Brits decided they had to civilize the world, countless societies understood something pretty progressive. People are not just male or female. What a shocker! Take the indigenous peoples of North America, for instance. They had this beautiful concept called the two-spirit. Imagine someone who channels both male and female spirits. No confusion, no awkwardness, just respected. Sometimes revered members of the communities with special roles as healers or artists. I will wager they are the originals of modern gender fluidity. For centuries, two-spirit folks held reverend places in society until, wow, you can guess what happened next. Move into the buzzing streets of India, where we have the Hijras, third gender individuals, or as they like to say, blessed beings. They are often biologically male or intersex folks who take on feminine traits, and traditionally they have been spiritual figures, gifting blessings at weddings and childbirths. The Brits, in their infinite wisdom, deemed them deviant and criminalised them with laws that have stubbornly stuck around. Is it not rich? These people offering spiritual blessings were branded criminals by colonial powers. Then there are the Mahu people of Hawaii and Tahiti. Before Europeans showed up with their sticky noses and judgmental eyes, Mahu were cultural gems, important spiritual leaders embodying fluidity between male and female. Nowadays, thanks to colonialisation, they have often had to hide their identities or face stigma. So much for the mission to civilise, eh? On the other hand, take the Zapotecs from Mexico with their intriguing muxes, men who live as and take on social roles commonly associated with women. They are a distinct third gender, and their existence is woven into the very cultural fabric of Oaxaca. The colonialists tried to squash that too, but bless them, muxes are still thriving and proudly flamboyant. On top of that, for a bit more complexity, let me toss in the Bugis people of Indonesia, who are not content with just three genders. No, they have five. Yes, five. You have the male and female, but also the Kalabai, the Kalalai, and Bisu, each with unique roles and identities mixing masculinity, femininity, and spiritual balance. Now, that is diversity for you. The Bisu priests in particular are culturally significant as spiritual intermediaries blending gender qualities. However, not to be forgotten, even classical Judaism's Talmud talks about 6 genders, with names so complex even a scholar struggles to remember them all. They include terms for people with both male and female traits or ambiguous characteristics. Early scholars certainly recognized fluidity long before modern debates. Now, Here comes the plot twist. The colonial narrative was like the grumpy neighbour who stormed in, slammed the door and announced, "No more of this nonsense. You will play by my rules," which means strictly two genders, and that's the bleeding end of it. Colonial powers introduced laws criminalising behaviours and identities that did not fit into their neat little boxes. They did not just want to impose a gender binary, they wanted to impose their entire worldview, Christian morality, legal systems and social order. Suddenly, those reverend two-spirit folks, Hijras, Mahu, Muxis and others found themselves marginalised, criminalised or downright demoralised. You can imagine how that went over. Like a ball in a china shop, smashing centuries of cultural practice in moments. Here is something else that is tragic and somewhat absurd. Even generations after colonial powers have left, many countries still cling to these legal frameworks and social prejudice introduced back then. The clothes barely changed, but the attitudes stuck like gum on shoe soles. Therefore, next time someone tells you it has always been just boys and girls, you can smile and tell him or her, "Mate, you have got centuries of global history wrong." People have been expressing and living beyond binary gender for millennia, sometimes as sacred duty, sometimes as cultural pillar, sometimes just because they were flipping brilliant human beings who did not see the point in restrictive labels. Let me tell you a quick personal antidote. Since you are listening, you lucky souls, living here in Thailand, I often see the vibrant gender diversity the official textbooks ignore. I once tried to explain to a fellow expat that the local acceptance of gender fluidity made the Western system look downright stifling. His eyes glazed over and he muttered something about political correctness gone mad. If only they stayed a little longer, sipped some coconut water and opened their eyes to how rich and varied human life can be. Now, just to shake things up, a quick dash of sarcasm and realness. The colonial powers acted as if they invented gender, as if they had discovered fire or sliced bread. Newsflash. The rest of the world had a far more nuanced conversation going on for centuries, while they were busy colouring inside the lines. To wrap up, cultures across the globe reveal an incredible spectrum of gender experiences that colonialism dared to shove into rigid boxes. Today, as we slowly untangle that colonial knot, reclaiming and respecting those identities is a revolutionary act of cultural healing. So next time you see someone who does not fit perfectly into your neat categories, remember they are part of a global, ancient history of gender diversity that colonialism tried to erase but never quite succeeded in doing. Moreover, if that is not worth a cheeky smile and a bit of resistance, I do not know what is. If you enjoyed this little romp through history and culture, why not hit the like button and subscribe? Share your thoughts on your own stories about gender diversity, curious anecdotes or confusing moments in the comments below. Let us chat, laugh and learn together. And for heaven's sake, keep questioning those old dusty ideas. The world is far too rich and complicated for two boxes only. Bye bye.